Welcome to From Beyond with your host, Glenn Boddice. Join me as we explore spirituality, self-help, and channeling spirit. Hello and welcome to From Beyond with your host Glenn Boddice, spiritual medium. Thank you once again for tuning in for a very interesting deep dive conversation today. As in today's episode, we're going to be discussing the topic of the path of least resistance. Also in this week's episode, we have the channeling from the world of spirit, which sees myself becoming a vessel in order for spirit to bring their communications and wisdoms through. And then also in this week's episode, we have this week's forecast reading, which will hopefully help you navigate your way through the twists and turns of this week ahead. So let's start. So we're talking about, as I say, the path of least resistance. So what am I talking about when I'm saying this? Basically, what we're having the conversation about today is we're talking about spirit communication. We're talking about spirit utilizing, as the title would suggest, the path of least resistance in order to get their information and their communications through. So, first of all, let's start by why aren't you understanding and hearing spirit communication? Now, this goes out to anybody, so it doesn't matter whether you consider yourself sensitive or a medium or a psychic. This conversation is for everybody that's listening to this. So on some level, you will be blocking spirit interaction with you. Now, the way that you'll be blocking this, maybe it's on a subconscious level, but either way, it's still an energy block. It's stopping that energy from connecting with you. And the reason why it will be blocked is because you'll have either an element of fear, and why you're fearful of this interaction is perhaps you don't know enough about the subject. You don't know enough about it, and you believe the hearsay about the topic of spirit and how nasty they are and all of that, which anyone will tell you that if you do communicate with spirit or you're open to it, it's generally very pleasant. It's very subtle. So removing that fear would help you remove those blocks there. Also, the level of doubt, doubting your abilities, doubting that, did I really see that? Did I really hear that? Did I really feel that? Just doubting yourself all the time will automatically put that block up there. So spirit will find it increasingly difficult to communicate with you. Also, terming things as, oh, it's just my imagination. Again, that is a form of blocking the communication from spirit. Again, that would tie in with doubt there, wouldn't it? And then finally, a lack of confidence. A lack of confidence what you're experiencing. Again, this would go in with maybe imagination and doubt and maybe fear. So all of these potential blocks are kind of all related in one way, shape or form. So that all of those things are going to stop you from connecting with spirit and having some sort of communication with them. Now, let's bear this in mind. So, for you to understand and hear spirit and communicate with them on some degree, you've got to remain positive. You've got to remain neutral, and you've got to remain objective as well. No putting your don't put your attention on either side of the fence. Just remain observant. I think that's the best word I can use in this situation. But notice that in actual fact, spirit are always around us. They're just on a different frequency, a different vibration to us in this dimension. Yet they still continue to exist and experience their timeline, their energy, their pathway their soul path. They're still doing that, and they're around us all of the time. And they do want to contact us. They do want to integrate with us on some level. If they see an opportunity, they will take it. They will take that opportunity to communicate and bridge the two worlds together. Now, this doesn't matter if this is one of your relatives in the world of spirit. It could be just somebody that, a spirit that's in the location where you'll happen to be at that moment in time. But nevertheless, spirit are always around us, and they're wanting to have that interaction with us. And with this being the case, obviously, they pick up on vibration, different frequencies. They have to lower their energy in order to interact with ours. We have to heighten our energy to interact with theirs. And so we meet in the middle at some level there. And so what spirit will be doing, I would term this like a telephone operator back in the day, where they would be connecting wires behind the scenes in order to get that communication through. And so what spirit are doing, they're looking for that path of least resistance where they can get a strong link, a strong connection into your aura, into your vibration. And the way that they will do this is obviously they'll try the path of least resistance. So they'll maybe try your emotions, and they'll impart a communication from themselves through you through your emotions. So they'll start to change your emotions very subtly. It is very subtly. It's not always as obvious as what you think. So you have to be paying attention, and also you have to have a level of understanding about who you are as a person and how you're feeling in that particular moment, because anything other than that will be spirit interactions with you there. And also pay attention to the thoughts that are coming into your mind there, because spirit will implant a thought, a repetitive thought in your mind, and you can't seem to shake it out of your mind there. And notice that this happens to, I would say, all of us on some level, where you have what they would term now as an earworm, which is basically a song that's playing in your head all day long, and you can't seem to shake it out of your head. Now, this could be a song that you haven't heard since childhood, and you don't listen to that style of music anymore. Nevertheless, spirit will use that information, and they'll bring that song into your mind in order to establish a form of communication with you. And it's up to you then to go and do that research to understand the message. But they'll put that in your thoughts. They'll also use your third eye, your inner vision. It's the same part of the brain that you would use to daydream or visualize something. They will show you an image in your mind's eye. And again, this can work in two ways. It can be very fleeting, very quick, and it flashes right before you. Or it can be a repetitive vision that you can't seem to shake out of your head. Regardless of you keep trying to do that, again, this will be spirit trying to form some sort of communication with you on some level. They'll also use the physical body, such as sensations, changes in temperature, hot, cold, tepid. They'll also bring that spiky, tingling energy, almost feels like electrostatic pins and needles. They'll bring that in order to make their presence known to you as well. That's the most common one that probably most of you that are listening to this will have experienced on some level there. Also, the most advanced spirits, I would say, they have an understanding of frequency and magnetics and energy. And so what they will do is they will manipulate the environment in which you're at, and they can manipulate electronics very easily. They can make lights flicker on and off. They can make connections with speakers, like a distorted sound coming through a speaker. They can also put a distortion on pictures on the TV, so it goes like a snowy or pixelated. They can bring that in as well. They can also manipulate songs being heard on the radio. They'll place you in the right place at the right time where that song is playing. Or maybe they will put your phone on freeze so that you see a piece of information on your screen there and it's not moving, and so you have to refresh your phone. They can do all of these things. And again, this is more of the advanced spirit that can do that there. And it takes, as you can appreciate, quite a lot of energy for them to do that. And I feel as though that they will do that at the very last resort. if all else fails, they'll, I would say, bring all of their energy together to do something like that just to get your attention. So yeah, spirit will work in many wondrous ways. And again, they'll use that path of least resistance, but they'll always start with the easiest one first. And then if that fails, they'll move on to the next one, like I say, as you can imagine. So there's a lot of, I would say, a need for them to get in touch with you when they do get in touch with you. So when you appreciate the lengths that they will go to bring that communication with you, you've got to give them that level of respect for them doing that, an appreciation. But also, when they bring all of these things through, it's usually when you least expect it. And so you're usually busy, preoccupied, you're doing something else, and then all of a sudden you'll either think this thought, you'll either have this sensation out of the blue there. And because you're that busy in your day, whatever it is you're doing, usually we think, oh, that's unusual, and we put it to the back of our mind. Now, what I would suggest is that you are a little bit more observant than perhaps what you normally are. So don't take it for granted that, oh yeah, this is normal, blah, blah, blah. Be observant with non-judgment. And by doing that, you'll have more of a, I would say, an experience with spirit. You'll be able to understand what they're bringing through. And again, by being non-judgmental, you remove those energy blocks that we spoke of earlier. You're more open, and it's going to make it a lot easier for spirit to communicate with you. But also, first of all, you need to get out of your own way and remove those thoughts that you're crazy. Oh, I'm just imagining this. Oh, that's peculiar. I'm just imagining it. It's me. I'm being silly. Remove all of that. You're not imagining it. You're very sensitive. You're an instrument of energy. Just notice, observe, don't have any judgment about it, like we were saying earlier. But what will help you in this encounter, in these experiences, is if you can either make a mental note, but I would suggest that you go one step further and you either write it down in a diary or a journal. Or most of us, what we do nowadays, obviously we've gone in the digital era, digital age, where we have a mobile phone with us. We can go into the notes section of that phone and maybe put a date at the top of that heading. And then we can write down or type in our experiences, what we've just witnessed and the time and how we felt. And then we can save that to our electronic device and carry on the rest of our day. Now, the reason for doing this is when we do have that time, we can reassess those notes and we can look into them with a little bit more depth when we have that time. Again, looking at them from a perspective of non-judgment. And what you will find is some of these things that you've experienced will either make sense. It'll either be a message, a direct message coming in from the spirit world. It may even be that you couldn't take your eyes off of a clock at a certain time of day, and you don't know why that you was doing that. And then when you record that information and you explain it to others, maybe other family members, they'll say, oh, that's unusual. That's when your great Aunt Nellie or whoever passed away. They passed away on that time. So never underestimate all of this information coming in. I would say for you to dive a little bit deeper with the information. As I was saying earlier, what spirit will do is, they do this to virtually everybody, is they'll place a song in your head, and that song can be buzzing around your head all day. I mean, how many of you listening to this have been at work, you woke up in the morning, you had this song in your head, you go to work, around dinner time, that song's still in your head there. You start whistling it out loud or singing part of the lyrics of that song whilst you're working, and you think nothing of it. And then a bit later on in the day, that song's in your head again, and you start whistling the tune and singing away to it. And without realizing that this is actually spirit bringing a message for you. So it's remembering and recording that information down, going back when you have the time, when you're not preoccupied with work or whatever you're doing, and look into the lyrics of that song. And what you will find, there will be a distinctive message there coming in from Spirit that is very relevant to you on a personal level, that you needed to hear at that moment in time. And once you've done that research, or you've listened to that song, or you've done both, because listening to the song that Spirit will bring forward, in my experience, obviously, as you know, music is frequency, is energy. And with listening to the song, there's various frequencies, various energies in the production of that song that maybe you need to listen to and experience and feel those vibrations and those healing energies at that moment in time, so that it helps you to feel a lot better within yourself. There's a level of healing, upliftment. It may connect you to download energy upgrades, and you needed to hear that song in order to boost your vibration up so that you're in a more receptive place to receive these energy codes. So never underestimate this. And what you will find when you've listened to it, done that research with that song will no longer be in your mind, because that job has been done. That information has been exchanged. You see, Spirit, what they'll do is they'll keep repeating and repeating and repeating the information until you get it, until you understand what they're trying to communicate to you. So do make sure that you're doing this research. Also, I mentioned that they may work in a way where they're showing you an image, a visualization. Well, usually Spirit will work, like I say, using the path of least resistance. And one of those paths is showing you a symbol, a visualization of an image. And don't just take it for granted that, say, for example, it's a dog. They're showing you a dog. Why have I got this dog in my head? Why are you showing me this dog? Don't just take it at face value, because that will have so many meanings. And it's up to you then to interpret those meanings. So let's look at it. First of all, they say that a dog is a man's best friend, don't they? So it's talking about friendship there. We've got that in the symbolism of the dog. A dog is also referred to as a canine because it has canine teeth there. So there would be the letter K in the alphabet. Check out where that is positioned in terms of the numeric level, where that is in, where it sits in the alphabet. And then we have the number of 9 there for you to look into. Now, when I say these numbers, I'm referring to angel numbers that I'd certainly recommend that you research the meanings. So you've got the letter K, number 9, the numeric value of the letter K in the alphabet there as well. So there would be messages in that. Also, a dog, as you know, when they're happy, they wag their tail. They don't hide that away. When they're sad, they don't. They put the tail down, don't they, as well? So when you saw that image of the dog, was the tail wagging? Obviously, that's talking about happy, excitement, isn't it? It's bringing that message through. Or if it's the opposite, obviously, that's a message of sorrow or sadness or feeling a little bit low under par there. And then also observe what breed of dog that you're being shown, as that will have a bearing, because then you'll be able to research the animal totem of that dog that you're being shown. And that will, again, in turn, bring forward some additional content and information that Spirit are wanting to convey to you. The next thing, the dog, generally speaking, has 4 legs. So we've got the number 4 there as well, haven't we, for you to research. And then look at the dog, or recall the image of that dog. How was it positioned? What was its body language? What was its facial expressions conveying to you? Did it look angry? Did it look happy, sad? Did it look confused? Did it look tired? You see, all of that will have a bearing in terms of message there. And then look at the coloration of that dog's fur. You know, what colours are dominant, shall I say, within that image, by assigning and feeling into each one of those colours. Colour, I find, has a vibration, an emotional connection. I mean, how many times do we look at colour and we feel an emotion? It brings some emotions to the surface. So just observe how you feel looking and recalling back those colours that you're being shown in that image of the dog. So obviously, this is just an example of me using the dog for spirit to bring forward that image. Now it's up to you. The example was there so that you could utilize these techniques so you can look further beyond just the face value image that you're being presented with. And the more that you dive deeper, the more detailed evidential information that you will find in that correspondence from spirit there. So never just assume that, oh yeah, it's me being silly, I'm imagining things. Look into it further and you'll actually be pretty amazed with the level of accuracy that spirit are using in that message for you. So don't take it for granted. Do the work. And again, like with having repetitive songs, once you've done the work and you've inspected the information, then spirit will no longer keep showing you that repetitive thought or that image or that sensation. It's when we explore it, they know, okay, they've got the message. At that point, they may start and show you other forms of communication. So be ready, write it all down. And when it is convenient to you, then, like I say, this is when you can do that research and look into it a little bit further. But what I've found in my experience is spirit will also use your memory bank to communicate with you as well. Now, what I mean by this, obviously, we all have life experiences, don't we? We've all gone to different locations. We've all done different things in our life. And all of this information is obviously stored with us in our memory bank there. And even if you can't recall that information, you know, it will be there. It will be connected with your vibration, with your life path there. And so spirit have direct access to this also. And with this being the case, rather than them wasting lots and lots of energy trying to manipulate images to you from them, from their consciousness into your mind, they're not going to do that if you've already got those images implanted in your mind. So it's a bit like going to a library, isn't it? You'll look through the library. Oh, right, that book is there. So this is what spirit are doing. They're looking through your memory bank. Oh, yes, that's what we want to communicate. We'll pick that out of their memories and replay that image or that sound or that song. And we'll keep replaying it until they get the message, what we're trying to convey. So usually, in my experience, it's when we've forgotten about some of these things in our life that are, again, catalogued in our memory bank, that all of a sudden they come to the forefront of our mind out of the blue. We have no reason to be thinking these thoughts. Nothing has triggered these thoughts to come to the surface. And it's this that you need to be mindful of and pay attention. And you'll know it's different because you're like, oh, why am I thinking that? I haven't thought of that for years. How bizarre is that? You'll know when it's a communication from spirit. At that point, again, you need to write it down. You need to record that experience. And then when you have that time, then you can inspect it further. Like I say earlier with the other examples. And you can do this in your thoughts, in your mind. You can focus consciously on that thought that spirit was showing you, going deep into your memory bank. And then you can look into it a little bit further. What happened in that memory? You know, what happened on that day out that you went with Grandad? Was there anything significant that happened? And then you replay that image almost like a film rolling out in front of your third eye there, and you're just allowing yourself to experience that. And then when you recall all of that information, you may experience emotions connected. You may experience, like I say, it could be a grandfather memory or grandmother or something like that. And you'll feel that love for them. You'll feel that bond with them. The happy time, that happy memory will play out. You'll feel those emotions. And now, this is just an example. Now, this could be a direct communication there from your late grandparents that are just wanting you to be reminded of them, and they're just wanting to let you know that they still think of you. That was a treasured memory for them as well, and they're making you more aware of that by bringing it from your memory bank. So spirit, they will use, like I say, the path of least resistance. So, don't block. Don't I would say, second guess yourself, because it's something that most of us do. I just imagined that. No, I'm going crazy. No, I didn't hear that song. That's second guessing, isn't it? So always trust your first original experience. Write it down before your brain starts to overthink and put it to the back and second guess itself. And then you can look back at that original thought that you've written down. Then you can unpick it. Then you can do this deep dive. Then you can extract the informational messages that spirit are wanting to communicate with you. As I've already said, if that fails, spirit will use other means, particularly if they're more advanced and they have that energy behind them. They will start to move objects in your home there. You may have heard me mention many times before that I'm quite fortunate that I observe shoelaces being positioned into either symbols, numbers, or shapes. And quite often it's my dad that's doing it. He does it with cables in the studio. My dad is in spirit, by the way, and he manipulates the cables to form in shapes. Now, what is interesting about this, when my dad is around, he'll let me know it's him, because he'll position the cable into either a treble clef, which is a musical symbol that you see at the beginning of a musical composition. Now, that's quite a unique symbol, quite a unique shape to be seeing in a cable or a wire. So my dad will bring that forward there as well. Also, he will use the symbolism of a heart shape. Again, that is very significant to my late father, because his headstone is a heart shape. And actually on his headstone, he has a treble clef musical symbolization there as well. So that is direct evidence that it's my dad that's bringing this communication through. And again, I'm very grateful for him putting all of that effort and that energy in, because it must take a lot in order to manipulate physical items in this dimension, because we're a lower vibration to the world of spirit. So it must take quite a lot of effort. And so I do feel very grateful that he takes that time. He brings forward that information just to let me know he's around, and he's sending his love. One of the latest ones that I received from him was, there was nobody in the home, and I came into my room a little bit later on in that afternoon, and I noticed that one of my shoelaces was positioned in the symbol of a pound sign. So it's the financial symbol of a pound, an English pound. And then also it looked, the way that the shoelaces were positioned, it looked like a small letter E as well as being a pound sign. So to me, my dad's name is Eric. So to me, his initial E and then a pound sign, that was a beautiful, again, piece of information from him. So I'm very grateful for these interactions that spirit use. But also to remove your blocks, to stop you receiving this information from spirit and these communications, first of all, you need to clear your mind. You need to do the breath work, slowing your breathing down, calming your vibration down. This will help you. And also having a non-judgmental attitude. So sitting on the fence and just accepting what is. Okay. Meditation will also help to clear the mind, body, and spirit. Going out into nature is a tonic. It's a healer. That will also help you to get these connections in with spirit. And then trust the process. Finally, trust. Well, now we're going to move on to the next segment of the show, which is this week's channeling from the world of spirit, which sees me becoming a vessel for spirit to bring their communications and wisdom through. And before we go into this, I don't know about anybody else, but recently I've been experiencing a change, a shift in timelines, a shift in vibrations, as I've been spending more time out in nature. And what I've been finding is that intuitively, I know when the weather's going to change. And I move accordingly to either avoid a shower of rain or too much sun. I just get that intuitive hit, and every time it's been spot on. So I've been noticing these subtle changes recently. I just thought I'd put that out there in case anybody else has maybe been experiencing something of a similar nature. So we are coming back into alignment with our higher self and the universe, and to me, this was a prime example of that. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's channeling from the world of spirit.
We are particularly joyous in our approach today because we know that times are changing, and we want you all to celebrate that beautiful joviality within each and every one of you. Most of you have been suppressing that joviality for some time, and this is not necessarily your own doing or your own fault. It's the way that your society has been manipulated and designed in order to keep you under that cosh of lower vibrational energy and situations to trigger that response within you. So you've all been going through this, whether you believe it or not. It has been happening in order to trigger that fear-based response from you. And the reason for this is so that energy can go out into the ether, and there are, shall we say, members of your universal community that feed from that virtual sustenance, that energy of fear that you will be emitting. So obviously, this has been manufactured or farmed within you as a society so that you give off this energy in order for them to sustain themselves on this vibration. But that doesn't do you any harm, or shall we say that does you a deal of harm, because you're emitting all of those lower base frequencies that come from being disturbed or frightened or manipulated in some way, shape, or form in order to create these frequency vibrations. Why we're talking about this today is to tell you that actually you do have a choice, and that choice is you either succumb to that cajolement or manipulation of your emotions, or you do not. Instead, you choose to be happy, you choose to be vibrant, you choose to have fun and connect in with that vibration of joviality. Now understand this, that when you do that, it no longer emits those fear-based frequencies out into the ether. Instead, it does the complete opposite, and it gives those high vibrational energies out there. So it clears the pathway on an energetic level. It changes. This is how communities are changed. This is how society has changed. You no longer subscribe to that vibration of hearsay and fear. Instead, you feel that joy and positivity filtering through your heart. And instead of suppressing those comical moments and those ideas of love and joviality, you express them without the fear of being judged. You simply become aligned with that vibration. And what you will notice when this does occur is there will be dramatic shifts and changes, not only in your own lifestyle and your lifetime, but also those that you enrich with your beautiful vibration. We're talking about either friends or family, work colleagues, or people that you generally communicate and have time and vibrational energy for. They will benefit from your frequency, from your shift in conscious vibration, and in turn they will start to emulate the vibrations that you are creating and sending out into the ether. Therefore, they will start to experience their life from that perspective of joy and joviality, having more fun and seeing fun in the world rather than the doom and gloom that has been forecasted to you. It is a great conversation piece. We understand one of a, shall we say, controversial nature that we start this transmission off with you, but it's one that most of you aren't fully understanding of what is actually happening and why it's happening and why you're feeling the way you're feeling, even though you have no reason to feel that lower based frequency energy. And we're saying that you are being farmed for the fear-based energy in order to feed, shall we say, members of your universal community that have elected not to be sustained from love and light. We'll call it that. We're putting it as tactfully as we can in this transmission so that you understand where we're going with it. Now, to enable you to feel this joviality and fun and love and laughter, we encourage you to turn off anything that takes away that from you. And most of you will be mindful enough to know that when you switch on the television, there is a lot of, shall we say, mind control that is used and manipulating your emotions and in a certain way. You've only got to watch your news headlines to understand the delivery and the tone of voice in which it's presented to you is done by design in order to pull your vibrations down and manipulate you emotionally. Now, not only that, but there's also programs or TV shows or whatever that also utilize this, I would say, technique of hypnosis, where they use that monotone frequency and then they will inject packets of information into you by emphasizing them. So they'll start off, I will give you an example. Today has been a very good day, hasn't it? They will punctuate certain phrases that they want you to latch onto, that they want to program into your subconscious. So now that we've told you that, we want you to turn off anything that programs you or pulls down your frequency and start and watch and do activities that bring you joy in your heart and love, make you feel lighter vibrationally in your physical body, also make you feel happy to get up in the morning and welcome the day. You'll notice that your days will feel a lot more vibrant than they did before. You'll also notice that some of your personal habits will be changing once you follow this path of joy, as we're alluding to some of the foods that you have been, shall we say, hypnotized to buy and eat and consume. Some of those foods won't align with you anymore, simply because those foods are of a low vibrational nature, again designed to keep your vibration down so that you emit this vibration of fear, which is a sustenance in itself, as we've already alluded to. So you'll start eating more foods that bring you joy in your heart, that make you feel lighter in your vibrational and physical body, that also make you feel cleaner. Now there's a word that we want to emphasize, feeling cleaner. Foods that make you feel fresh, refreshed, and energized, rather than you feeling sluggish and feeling lethargic and not wanting to do anything, not having that motivation. There's foods also that give you that crash and burn situation, where you feel hyperactive 1 minute and the next minute you feel lower than low. Now there's a lot of drinks that offer high energy, or at least that's what they're advertised, but it's only for a short period of time. And you must understand those substances within those drinks can cause you to have this mass low vibrational feeling also, and feeling that dirtiness in your physical body, that element of not feeling as refreshed as what you would like. So there's going to be a lot of changes for those who are listening to this and employing some of these suggestions into your day-to-day living. We hope this has found you and given you something to maybe think about, but now it's time for me to go and pass you on to another communicator who wishes to have a small word with you. Bye for now, sending lots of love and blessings.
Hello. I come with a message of love to you all, a message of absolute peace and tranquility, something that's not spoken about in society. It's almost brushed under the carpet, and it's a form of embarrassment, or at least that's what how you've been made to feel. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be in love and vibrate love and oneness, understanding that connection between each and every one of you. We want you to recognize this now more so than ever, because the powers that be are trying to ridicule you for being this way, calling you soft, and amongst other names, so that you will not rise up and understand that you are all divine beings connected to one another. And it's only when you understand that vibration of togetherness, of love, of peace and tranquility, that you can raise your vibrations as a collective to a new timeline. And this will eradicate those vibrations of fear and negativity out of your society. But you all must band together. Ideally, all starts with one person owning their truth and saying that they are love and being love and offering kindness, offering that listening ear, giving people that platform to express themselves on. And once the one person does it, it emits a feeling into the other people that will then feel that sense of freedom and tranquility and peace. It's at this level that this energy, this transformational energy, is ricocheting out into society, binding you all together to make a new community. Whether this is online or in the physical realm, energy moves in miraculous ways and can travel far and wide. So never underestimate the power of your vibration and the words that you emit through you, because they are very inspirational, helpful, and healing. We hope this finds you well and inspires you to be the true version of yourself in any one given moment of your life, as it is the gift of love and light that will free this world from the shackles of enslavement. We send our love, blessings, and beautiful, high vibrational healing energy to you all. We thank you all for listening. We bid you farewell. Bye for now.
as ever. What an incredible transmission there from the world of spirit. Fantastic to hear about these times are changing, and also letting that love and laughter out rather than suppressing it will help us to move into a new timeline, a new vibration, and also don't attach ourselves to fear or drama will also naturally help us to gravitate towards this new shift on our timelines. And it's always nice to be reminded that we all have that choice. And that choice is either love or fear. So now that we're reminded of that constantly, maybe observe the way that you're choosing in your life. Nice to hear that love will clear the pathway for us moving forward as individuals and in a community-led atmosphere there as well. And everyone will benefit from these high vibrations. Very interesting and important to hear about monitoring everything that takes place in our day-to-day living. And this could be like what was suggested, the media, the TV, the radio, what we read, the people we hang around with, and just noticing how we're feeling and how we're responding, whether this is in a subconscious level or actually if we're consciously choosing to move in whatever direction there. But obviously it was nice to hear by the other communicators reminding us to never underestimate the power of love and to speak more openly about it. The more that we do this, the more high vibrations that we put out into the ether, and everyone benefits by doing that. And obviously at the end there, it was always wonderful to hear that sound healing channeled through. I don't know about anybody else, but as I was listening with you, I felt a clearing occurring within my chakras. My ears were buzzing, my head was tingling, and I felt this flushing of blockage energy being forced through my physicality there as well. I also felt a level of calmness, a level of peace, and my heart space opened up to invite that level of gratitude in. So I really enjoyed that. Thank you, Spirit. That was incredible as always. So we're going to move on to the next segment of the show, which is this week's energy forecast reading, which will hopefully help you navigate your way through the twists and turns of this week ahead. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's forecast reading. Hello, my name is Glenn Boddice and I'm a spiritual medium, and welcome to this week's energy forecast reading for the week commencing Monday the 8th of April 2024. Now, those of you that watched me work before will know that I connect with my spirit guides and helpers and also consult the wisdom of the angel tarot cards. So what I'm about to do is just shuffle the pack and allow a card to come out for this week's energy forecast reading. Okay, these are here we go, we've got it now. So here's your card for this week's energy forecast reading. Let's link into the energy of that card. First of all, I'm being told home improvements this week. Improvements around the home, whether this is energetically, whether this is emotionally, or indeed in the physical sense, moving items around, having a clear out, getting rid of things that no longer serve you in your home. And that way you'll feel that your vibration will be improving. You'll just feel more enlightened, more clear in your mind. And also you'll feel that you've cleared out some old vibrational energies that aren't serving you anymore. I'm also being told that watch out for the resurgence of your heart opening up even more so. There's going to be an evolution, a shift in your emotions this week, as no longer are you going to be following that same old pattern of wrestling between your thoughts and your feelings and your emotions. I feel as though this week we'll see that change where you connect directly into your emotions and you operate from that new operating system moving forward in your life. And so also with that being said, I feel this is going to have a dramatic impact in all areas of your life, particularly around who you spend your time and energy with. You're connecting with your heart, and if it does not align anymore, then you'll trust that vibration and you'll move accordingly to where that vibration is equally matched there in terms of respect, love and attention. I also feel that your heart chakra is going to help you make some important decisions with your work and career life. I do sense that there's going to be some shifts, some tweaks, some changes in your work and career life to make life more joyous for you instead of slogging yourself and working too hard. I feel as though this week's going to see the start of that process where you start to relax a little bit and allow your work and life to come more into balance, into your favor also, is what I'm feeling. I do sense that within this week there's going to be a shift, I'm being told, in your physicality, in your physical body. You'll get some aches and pains, almost like the flu-like symptoms, or growing pains is just what I've been told there. This is, I've been told, your genetics changing to the point where you're more highly sensitive, where you're connecting in with the ether more, where you're picking up on information that from the world of the unseen. And I feel as though these aches and pains, growing pains, and my guides are calling them, are you growing into the highest version of yourself this week. So be gentle on yourself. When you do feel the urge to take a break or have a rest, listen to that calling, even if it's for 5 or 10 minutes, and you will benefit from doing that. My guides are also saying, watch out also. Again, they're telling me about your heart and your emotions and connections of love and people who you're drawn to magnetically and you're passionate about. This could be in a current relationship. It could be also in a marriage. It could be in a partnership of some kind. If you're single, it could be a new person coming in. But I do feel as though you're all going to be feeling that palpitation feeling around your heart, as if your heart's skipping a beat, or a record, skipping a groove in that record, in that track, and moving into another track, in another groove. And I feel that this is your heart connecting you into another higher timeline. And with this being the case, you'll notice changes in your romance, in your heart chakra, in your connections with people. So let's turn over the card and go through that with you. The top of the card, we've got the number 3. So I'd like you to research the angel number of number 3, as I feel that that is very prominent for you for this week, should you choose to do that research there. Underneath that, it says the Empress. So that's telling you to actually honor your sacred divinity, your feminine side, your sensitivity this week, as you're going to be led, as we've already previously said, by your heart chakra. And also with you doing that, by being led by your emotions, by your sensitivity, you're going to sit in the seat of your own power there as well. So you're going to take your divinity back. You're not going to second guess yourself. You're going to move with precision this week. Let's read what it says underneath. It says creation, abundance, and action. So that goes in alignment with what we were saying about listening to the wisdom of your heart chakra, removing yourself from that wrestling match between your mentality, your thoughts, and your emotions. And in doing so, you're going to create beautiful blessings into your life. And you're going to feel that fire, that passion in your heart to move and strike while the iron is hot, when you're feeling that process evolve and shift. Looking into the artwork of the card, we've got this beautiful colour around the edge, and it's a purpley blue colour. So straight away, it's telling you that you are protected by your spirit team, your spirit guides, also your friends and family in the world of spirit. And also it's saying that you'll be increasingly sensitive to those higher vibrations around you as well. It's also talking about communication, and it's talking about heart space communicating with feelings, more emotive connections this week. And it will see you opening up a little bit more, allowing people in to get to know you on a deeper level than perhaps they have done before. Taking another look into that artwork there, we have this divine feminine there, or Empress as the title suggests on the card. And as you can see, she's nurturing a youngborn there. She's sat in the seat, a throne you could say, so she's sitting in the seat of her own power. She's also resting. The wings are facing down. She's resting. She's evaluating life, but also being more present. And as you can see, this child there represents a rebirth in your life this week. Something new is going to enter your life, and it's going to be the making of you. And it's going to grab your attention. and you will give it your focus, and you will follow and trust the emotions within your heart chakra as you align with this new birth that's coming into your life. I feel it's either a new partner, a new relationship, it's a new opportunity, new work or career opportunity, or actually you seeing the wood for the trees for once in your life. I feel as though these opportunities have been around you for some time. It's just you've been that consumed with your life that you haven't been able to give them your time and attention, or even spot them for that matter. Also on the card, we've got this shield, this heart-shaped shield, and it's interesting how it is facing on the side, and it's leant up against this throne there. This would indicate that actually that heart space, that protection, that shield that you've been holding in front of your heart, you've put that down. You've let that sort of protection go down. And in doing so, it's allowing you to work from a different vibration, as we've currently already said about you working from that heart space more so this week than ever. And that's because you naturally have let that guard down there as well. There's a beautiful scenic nature scene there, but what is interesting is these two olive branches either side. As you can see, they're reaching out there to one another. So to me, that is actually building bridges of friendship, letting bygones be bygones, whether this is also in a family connection there as well. And also it's talking about growth. It's talking about that heart space of forgiveness and allowing yourself to move forward predominantly there. And there's lots of valleys, lots of hills there. I feel as though the worst is behind you. The best is in your now, present moment consciousness. Open your heart and you will spot it. So that's what we picked up for this week's energy forecast reading. I do hope that's aligned with you. Thank you for hearting, liking, commenting and sharing. If you've enjoyed what you've seen on here, you would like to support the work that I do, I have got a Buy Me a Coffee link either above or below this video, which is a virtual tip jar. So all of your generous donations will be gratefully received and used in accordance with the spiritual work that I do to help people raise their consciousness and ascend on the spiritual journey ahead. Also, if you would like any of my products or services, you can book a reading with me by going over to my website, www.glenboddicespiritualmedium.com. Find me on Facebook, Glenn Boddice Spiritual Medium, and also join me every Monday with my radio show From Beyond with Glenn Boddice, talking about all things spiritual, paranormal and self-help on www.pulsetalkradio.com. Have a fantastic week. Bye for now.
Well, I hope that helps you make your way through the course of this week. It seems very interesting, the fact that we're all moving into that heart space, doesn't it, to make our day-to-day decision making instead of having that tussling in our mind. It'd be interesting to hear some feedback from you all to see if you've gone through that through this week ahead there. But very interesting nevertheless. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this week's show. I hope you can find something within this week's show that can help you raise your consciousness, awareness, or inspire you in some way, where you do your own research, you do your own deep diving, and do the inner work. I always recommend people to do that. You know, life is an inner journey, and once you discover yourself, the world becomes different to you, and you follow that inquiring mind and that vibration that's going to help you move forward, and your life's going to change because you've done that. So as ever, I'd like to invite anybody that has any information to share with the show of a spiritual or paranormal nature, maybe an encounter that you've had that you would like the listeners to hear about. Maybe you're not comfortable to speak on the show, but indeed, please do send me a message to my website, www.glenboddicespiritualmedium.com, or you can contact me at glennboddice@live.co.uk. And if you're happy for me to share your story and read it out with the listeners, that would be fantastic. Also, if you have any show suggestions or topics that you would like me to discuss, or me and Christina Bloom to discuss, then again, please drop that in your message as well. So whatever it is you're doing this week, I wish you a wonderful week ahead. Take life as it comes on a day-by-day basis. And also, as the messages keep coming thick and fast this week, follow your heart and let that be your compass throughout the course of this week ahead. So you can join me next week, next Monday, 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, with this very show, From Beyond with Glenn Boddice, talking about all things spiritual, paranormal and self-help on www.pulsetalkradio.com. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to From Beyond. For more information about what products and services Glenn provides, go to glennboddicespiritualmedium.com.